Oh,
Hey,
okay.
what's up, fam? Welcome to another episode of 49 Faithfullee. We're back with your instant reaction from today's win, 27-7 win over the Seattle Seahawks. I guess, the team won, but I don't know if you guys want to say it was a victory because, we lost our starting quarterback at the beginning of the game. So I'm pissed. I'm sad. I'm upset. I'm a whole bunch of things besides happy that my football team won.
Amen, sister. I'm very sad. I'm not gonna lie. I am honestly like crushed. I'm literally crushed that he's out. I'm crushed.
I don't
And
even have the words.
correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they say it's a broken ankle? Is that what I heard?
He's going to require season-ending surgery, according to Adam Schefter.
Yep.
Shit.
And he said that it's a serious ankle injury.
So it was his ankle.
Yeah.
Because me and my husband weren't sure if it was ankle or if it was above the if it was his shin.
That big guy from number 99 fell right on top of the ankle. You look at it, he's going down, and number 99 helped cement him. It landed right on his ankle. It's like being ran over by a 700-pounder.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I'm like Miriah. I mean, yes, we won. Yay, we won. But I honestly have mixed emotions. I am super sad. Like, well,
I don't think we won. I don't think we'll get past 10 wins this year because we saw who Jimmy was after 20. He still can't throw the ball with any regularity. You still have to rely on your passing game or your running game. And if that goes to shit, Jimmy can't make things happen.
Yeah. No, I'm not disagreeing with you, dude. Like, trust me, you ain't talking to no Jimmy Stan over here. I'm not like, woohoo, yay, Jimmy's in the game. Nah, man.
But yet the amount of people that basically cheered when number 5 went down is just sickening.
Well, you know what, dude? Here's what I got to say to those people. If you were happy that Trey Lance got hurt, and I know that I'm not supposed to tell people how to feel, and that's a thing now. Like, people say, oh, podcasters, you're not allowed to tell people how they feel, or, oh, whatever. Well, you know what? How about this? For you people out there that are out there all happy that Trey Lance got hurt, well, you know what? You can all kiss my fucking ass. How about that? That's what I got to say to you. Because you know what? If you are truly a 49ers fan, then you're not happy that any of our players get hurt. Because that's bullshit. Like, if you really are happy that someone got hurt on our team, then you're not a 49ers fan. And if that's the case, then you need to go root for somebody else. That's how I fucking feel.
Agreed.
Yeah. Yep. East Bay Chris on Twitter had put out a tweet that said, people doing victory laps right now on my timeline about Trey Lance not being good enough, fresh off that injury. Fuck out of here. Seek help. And that's why all of a sudden the narrative changed. Like Trey got hurt and it was all of a sudden, oh, he's a bust. He's not good enough. That's why he had to run. That's why Kyle had to run him because he's not a good enough quarterback to throw. Like, that's what the narrative switched to as soon as Trey got hurt. Like that's I don't know. That's disgusting. Like, I felt so sick. Like, I felt so sick as soon as we seen Trey go down, and like my stomach has been hurting ever since.
Yeah.
No, dude, me too. I feel for you, Miriah, because I feel the same way. I got sick when I saw that because I knew that everyone was going to come out of the woodwork and say, oh, thank God we kept Jimmy, and oh, thank God that Jimmy's here to save us. You know what, man? Look, I was literally on the Faithful Empire show. I was literally on there the other day, and I was agreeing with Sean, one of the co-hosts, and I told him, he said that it was a mistake keeping Jimmy because of all the media shitstorm it was bringing down on Trey. And originally, and Miriah knows this, I was in the club of saying I thought it was a good business decision, you know what I mean, to have a strong like QB room. But after I saw the shitstorm that it brought down on Trey, I reversed and I was in the other camp of like, we should have just got rid of him. Like we should have just, fucking got rid of him and went with Brock Purdy. I mean, am I happy that we won our game? Like, yeah, I'm happy that we won our game and we're not 0-2, but I'm not happy that Trey Lance is out. Like that sucks. Like he's out for a whole season again. So people can say what they want, but the bottom line is we gave up draft capital and everything else. And now this is another season that's going by that he's not getting any experience. So all you dumbasses that are fucking happy that he's not playing, well, he's going to play next year and we're going to go through the same shit next year. So take your victory off now and shove it up your ass.
Is he going to play next year?
Yeah.
Because the narrative's going to get only stronger to sign Jimmy to a longer term deal after this, because you can't be too careful. No, that's what they're going to say. And Jimmy's not going to want to go anywhere, because anywhere else he goes, the system is not made for him.
You know what? Hey, TL, I really hope that that's not the case.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
How you feeling?
No, I'll be quiet now.
I'm pissed off.
Yeah, I'm pissed off too, bro.
Okay, well, I'm not at home, so hopefully you guys can see me okay.
Yeah.
But
you're fine.
Yeah, here's the thing about it. I'm glad we won the game first and foremost. Like, we came away with a W. The stuff that pisses me off is Kyle using Trey Lance as a running back. We sit here and we say, yeah, and I've seen on Twitter all day people complaining about, Trey brings a different element with his legs, and they mad that they're making him run. Here's the thing: you got people like the Russell Wilsons, Patrick Mahomes, whatever the case may be, who look to throw first. We say he brings a different element because he can use his legs in case the play breaks down, and he can scramble to get that first down. We're not saying he brings a different element to use him as a running back. People need to know what the difference is. Different element means he enhances the running game as a whole, because on play action, whatever the case may be, they don't know if he's going to run, if he hands out to a running back. So you have to worry about both. When you have a quarterback who doesn't run, you don't have to worry about his legs, so he doesn't bring a different element. So get to know the difference. And when we say he brings a difference in the way he runs the football. And I'm sorry, Kyle, I love him to death. He's, I still think he's a good coach, but I can see the difference in play calling night and day. I feel like the play calling catered to Jimmy as far as throwing the football. When I feel like when it's Lance, he doesn't call those kind of plays. I mean, the play calling when Jimmy got the ball was beautiful. Why didn't we get the play calling with Trey? Like his play calling with Trey and Jimmy are totally different. People say, "Oh well, he needs to run the ball." Well, I don't care. You don't know what Trey's going to have in the development process unless you throw the football. You know what I'm saying?
That's what we were saying last week. You can't give Trey Lance Jimmy's playbook. You're supposed to expand the playbook. So expand the playbook and let the kid throw the damn ball.
Exactly.
He didn't do that.
Yes.
We've gone from 11-on-11 football right back to 11-on-10, where teams are going to stack the box because that's the only place Jimmy can throw. He's shown he can't throw outside, which means the Danny Gray pickup is wasted. Brandon Ayuk going deep is wasted. We're going back to short passes and trying to get yak, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
And
yeah, Kyle just said that Trey Lance it was a broken ankle and he'll have surgery to repair it tomorrow.
Yeah, out for the season,
now,
I heard too. Yeah.
You and Miriah both know I'm a huge Kyle person,
Yeah.
but I agree with you 5,000%. I was pissed off when I saw that shit because you know what, Kyle? As much as I fucking support your ass, Trey can throw the ball deeper than Jimmy. So why the fuck are we not throwing the ball when Trey Lance is on the field? I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Makes no sense.
And when he went down, and I saw that he was down for a while, and I don't know how you guys watched it, but it went to commercial for me. And then I came back and he's sitting on the gurney with an air cast. I was like, that can't be good. He has an air cast. Like that can't be good. I was like,
Well,
it's torn
I saw the
ACL, tore
play.
Achilles, something, you know. So, but
I
I'm glad it's an ankle, to be honest. Like, you know, it could be a lot worse. I'm glad it's not like a knee injury, something like that. But still, for the fact that, you know, he has to miss the whole season now, and now still people are still going to be questioning him. So next year it's going to be the same thing. Oh, is Trey
that,
ready? Is this? It pisses
that
me off. Like
Theo,
like I said on Twitter. Yeah, like I said on Twitter, I feel like I got punched in my chest and somebody took the air out of me. Like when I saw this kid
yep,
on the gurney,
Theo,
like
I agree with
I'm
you.
so pissed of how he's not getting the same treatment as Jimmy. The offensive line is not as good from last year to protect Jimmy. The play calling is horrendous. I thought maybe after the Texans game that we saw that Kyle finally started to get it together as far as play calling. These last 2 games is trash. I'm sorry, his play calling for Trey is not good.
And notice how everybody sparked up as soon as Trey got out. Jeff Wilson couldn't get through the hole. All of a sudden, he's getting holes. All of a sudden, the offensive line is actually blocking. And lo and behold, George Kittle will be back next week.
Yeah, and Bryant Cope, I understand we won. I don't know if you were on here before I said it, but I said first and foremost, I'm glad we won the game. I'm just talking about when you sit there and you invested this much in this young kid, and I feel sorry for him. The kid's 22. It feels like it's just one thing after another. He gets doubted.
Yep.
They bring Jimmy back, which I'm glad. Like I said, me and Miriah mentioned before, you know, because otherwise we would see Brock Purdy or Nate Sudfeld in, which wouldn't have been a good thing. So I'm glad from that aspect. And like I said on Twitter, I'm not mad that Trey got hurt because it's a part of football. I'm mad how he got hurt because I feel like using him to run up the middle is unnecessary to me. You don't have to keep doing power runs with Trey when he has an arm to throw the football down the field. It's ridiculous.
You got running backs for that.
Exactly.
TL, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, I said this to Super Dave too. Now, maybe I just missed, maybe I didn't look at the play correctly because I didn't see the all 22 or nothing. So, like, I could be wrong. But me and my husband both said it looked like he was scrambling and it didn't look like it was a designed run. Am I wrong about that?
I thought it looked like a designed run.
It looked designed.
Okay, because we thought it was a scramble, so that's why
he ran up the middle, and from the angle he went down.
But it looked like he was going to pass, and then he like juked and tried to run. That's why I thought he backed up like he was going to pass, and then he kind of juked and tried to run. So that's why I didn't think it was a designed run. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, it looked designed on mine because it looked like he dropped back. He looked like he was going to pass, and then they was like, okay, go ahead and run up the middle. I think he tried to fake the defense out a little bit. It looked designed to me because I didn't see him look up the field not one time on that.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so me and my husband thought it was like him scrambling because it looked like he was going to pass, and then he kind of juked and then tried to run. But I don't know. And I agree with you guys. Don't take it the wrong way. Like,
no, it's okay.
He is not a fucking.
No.
I agree. Like as soon as he got hurt, that was the first thing I said. I was like, God dang it, Kyle. He is not RG3. Stop running him. You have running backs. Like that's why you have running backs. That's why you've got Debo. Like if you want to do those effing plays, then do those plays with them. Trey Lance has a cannon. Use it. Like use his arm strength.
Yeah.
Especially Miriah, like you didn't learn anything.
Miriah, I'm about to shoot you that video to Twitter here to show everybody.
Like
it was a design run.
Yeah.
You didn't learn anything from the RG3 situation.
He faked it to his running back and then went forward. It was designed.
Yeah.
And you know what, Miriah? Exactly. Thank you. I agree with that 200% too. Like you didn't learn shit when you lost him. Like what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. Like I said,
you should have that video now, Miriah.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, it is just like there's just one bad thing after another. It's like.
And you know what? Can the media please shut their pie hole about? Oh, thank God, Jimmy's back in. What the? Oh God.
Yeah.
Like they acted like Jimmy Garoppolo was the next thing coming to Jesus Christ. And let's be honest, like. Before Jimmy Garoppolo, when Jimmy Garoppolo was our quarterback and we did not have Trey Lance, what was the biggest topic on all websites? It was like, oh, the 49ers are a great team, but their quarterback is holding them back. Their quarterback is the weak link of their
Exactly.
football team. Blah blah blah. Jimmy's not it. Jimmy can't get it done. That was everyone's issue. That was everyone's issue in the media with our team. And now all of a sudden, Jimmy Garoppolo's the savior. Really?
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
Denise,
see
go
if
to
this
the
works.
chat there. You should be able to see the video link.
I honestly, dude, I can't. Every time I like click in the chats and stuff, I always end up screwing up my thing. So I'm fine. I'll watch it later.
Right.
But I believe, if you guys are saying that it was a design run, I believe you guys. I'm not being like.
And here's the thing too. Yeah.
Looked like a scramble, but you say it was designed. I believe you.
Yeah, and yeah, no, it's okay, Denise. Like, like I said, it's all. I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong. What you saw is what you saw. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, from what I saw, from all appearances, it looked like a design run. Because, like I said, yeah, I feel like when he hiked the ball, he still like he dropped back, as in like, okay, because when you drop back, the defense automatically thinks, oh, it's a pass. So he gained himself some room for the linebackers kind of back a little bit. Then he took off. But like I said, I didn't see him scan the field or look up the field at all. So I feel like it was designed. Yeah.
And you're probably right. You know what I mean? You're probably right. And you know what? Again, do I agree with you guys? 1,000%. Because you know what? I know Kyle does that shit. And it's like, you know what, Kyle? Even when he did it, I mean, shit, I watched it live and in person in the Arizona Cardinals game when Trey Lance first game. I was like, Kyle, what are you doing? I was sitting there right live and in person, and I was like, Kyle, last time I checked, Trey Lance is not a running back. I could be wrong, by the way, but I thought he was a quarterback.
You know what's so sad about the whole situation too was like it's not like he's only had Lance on the roster for 2 months. He'd had him for over a year. He was on the scout team. He has a year under his belt as far as knowing the playbook and working with Kyle. Why don't you know how to use this man already? Why don't you play him to his strengths like you do Jimmy to his? Like that's what bothers me. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know. Like
and Richard Sherman did say something, and I'm trying to give Kyle a little bit of slack, but trust me, I'm just as pissed off as you guys are. As much as I like Kyle, I mean, I don't agree. Super Dave says he needs to be fired. I wouldn't go that far, but I am irritated. But the one thing that bothers me about Kyle is Richard Sherman said part of the issue is that like Trey and Kyle are still trying to feel each other out. And he said it's not the same like when he's working on scout team. And Richard Sherman said it's different in the game. I don't know if that's true or not. You know what I mean? I've never played an NFL game, so you got me, right? Like, I don't know. So I'm not saying it's right, wrong, and different. I'm just saying that's what Richard Sherman said. He said they're still trying to feel each other out. And he basically used Matt Ryan as an example. He's like, like, he said he goes, even when Kyle was an offensive coordinator, he's like, it takes you, it takes time to feel your players out and get their rhythm and get, what they're good at, what they're not good at, and feel them out, whatever. So I don't know. That could all be bullshit. Like, I don't know. But trust me, TL, I agree with you. The whole running him up the gut shit, I hate that shit. I hate it. I even hate it when he does it with running backs when it's not working. Like, I hate shit. I hate it. I'm like,
I thought we would have learned our lesson last year when we started the kid against Arizona, not to run him like that. Week 1, he was our leading rusher, and then this shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you guys said before I got on. Are you guys? I know it's early, or whatever the case may be, but are you guys doubting Kyle's development of his quarterbacks?
Yes.
Because like you said,
we
looked at RG3. We looked at RG3. We looked at RG3, and you look at how he ran him into the ground, like in that playoff game when he wasn't even ready to come back and all this other stuff. But then you look at the Arizona game, like you said, Denise, you're up close and personal. He gets a knee injury in that game. So, and then you stick at this game, he tries to run him too, and now he gets hurt again. So it's just one of those things where it's like, this is what irritates me, because I don't know what the situation is. I don't know if Kyle just doesn't trust Trey yet as far as like for game reps, but you hear players like Jimmy Ward and Fred Warner talking about how Trey tears up the first team defense. Where is that offense? Where's the offense that's tearing up our first team defense that they've been praising him for? Because I'm not seeing it. And now
Yeah.
it sucks because now we got to wait another year to see it. And now, like, how is he going to recover? How,
If we
you
get
know,
that lucky, because now
yeah,
it's now 3 years of unorganized football with no reps, and he's got to come back from injury.
yes.
What
Yeah,
happened to the play calls that you were drawing up on the way back from Trey Lance's pro day? Like,
Exactly.
you've been drawing up
thank
plays
you.
since then.
Maybe he
So
was
where
drawing
are
the
they?
runs.
Fucking runs up the gut. That's what you've been drawing up for fucking 2 years now. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I feel you,
You
Miriah.
know what, Mariah? You guys, I agree with you. I really do. I honestly can say I am this is the first time I've been like extremely disappointed in Kyle. Like I'm really disappointed. Like I'm just like, dude, like Kyle, like you're so much smarter than this. That's the thing that fucking pisses me off is like, I know that Kyle is smarter than this. Like, and can he develop a quarterback? I don't know. I honestly, you know what? I wish I had the answer. I wish I was like, fucking Nostradamus and could like look into my crystal ball and be like, yeah, man, it's gonna be great. But I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not saying, like, I don't know if he can. I'm just questioning if he can because the last two quarterbacks, I mean, yeah, you look at Kirk Cousins, but Kirk Cousins obviously is different than Trey Lance and RG3. I feel like when he gets a running quarterback, he overthinks it. And it's like, oh, well, he can, since he loves to run the football so much, he's like, well, let me have an athletic quarterback. Let me run this play with him, run that play with him, run up the gut. And that's not right because you sit there and you draft, like, you don't draft a quarterback and your first thing is, oh, let me see how I can use him in the run game. You know what I'm saying? You don't do that. You think about, oh, this quarterback can attack this area of the field, that area of the field. He can throw deep, intermediate routes, slants, whatever the case may be. But if you're looking at a quarterback and looking like, oh, well, let me get this power run, let me do that, like, and it's not fair.
You know what's sad, TL, is here's what I thought was funny is Trey's strength is not throwing the short pass. That's not his strength, right? That's what everyone says. Even in practices, they say Trey's strength is not the Jimmy dink and dunk. Like that's not where Trey is strong. Trey actually that's his weak game. That's where he struggles. Like his strong game is the long ball. But for some reason, Kyle doesn't call that. Like that's what I don't get. I'm like, Kyle, what the fuck are you doing?
We finally have a quarterback that can throw deep and you don't take advantage.
You drafted Brandon Ayuk in the first round to go deep. You went and got Danny Gray to go
Ray
deep.
Ray McLeod.
Ray McLeod. And you're not using them. You're not using them to their capabilities. So again, we're settling for short passes, hospital balls, if you will, up the middle, which is going to get our receivers killed middle of the season. And then where will we be?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like I said, I love Kyle, but I'm just like, Kyle, like, get your head out of your ass. Like, get your head out of your ass, Kyle. Like, Jesus, I'm over here supporting you and you making me look stupid. Thanks, Kyle. Like, you got your girl over here wearing a big fat dunce cap. Thank you, Kyle. I greatly appreciate it. Greatly. If I knew how to make memes, I'd put a dunce cap on my hat and put Kyle's supporter above it.
Yeah. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. Here. I don't think. I know. So to me, everybody wants to say, "Oh, see, that's just that proves that Trey ain't ready." I think Trey is ready if you give him the right game plan. I think Kyle's not ready to use him because he doesn't trust him. That's what I think. That's why I think Jimmy was kept. That's why I think they were like, "Oh, I don't know what I want to do with Sutfeld and this is that." At least, even though we all know with Jimmy G, we know he can't win the big one. He struggles in the playoffs. This and that. Kyle still was like, you know what? I trust him. Let me just keep him on the roster just in case. Like I said, I don't think it's a not ready thing. I just think that Kyle's not ready and doesn't trust him yet to run his full offense. That's what I think. That's why I believe that Jimmy G was still kept. I could be wrong, but to me, it doesn't make any sense. Like everybody says, I mean, since the Carson Palmer, John Kitna situation in 2003 or whatever the case may be, you've never seen a quarterback get drafted that high and not at least start in his second year. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
and then people say, well, look at Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. He still had a Hall of Famer on that team. We're talking about John Kitna. We're talking about Jimmy G. We're not talking about people who are making the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hate that argument, PL. I hate that argument that people say, like, oh, well, look at Aaron Rodgers, and oh, look at Steve Young. And I'm like, motherfucker, you're talking about Joe Montana and
Brett
Brett
Favre.
Favre. Like, Jimmy G doesn't even come close to those quarterbacks. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Like, come on.
Bebop said Gray was out there, and yeah, he was out there, and it was reported that he was cussing out Jimmy G on the sideline for missing him twice in a row.
Are you serious?
Because of that
That's
one
a
pass,
rookie.
he had to be 10 feet tall to get that ball.
A rookie cussing him out on the sideline for missing him twice.
Good.
So Ayuk's not going to be the only one.
You know what that means, though? That means he's going to be punished.
Yeah.
You're not going to see him again this season.
Yeah, we'll see him in the doghouse now.
He'll be in the doghouse too. Yeah.
He's certainly not going to throw it to him.
Yeah, you know he won't. That's for sure.
But you know what? That's the thing is, like I said, everyone acts like, everybody acts like, that's the thing with the media too that makes me want to flip and rip their heads off and shit down their neck. Is they're all out there acting like, Trey Lance. It's like, oh, Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance, I can't believe that they're starting Trey Lance over Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo took them to the Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo took them to the NFC Championship. Trey Lance, he's not ready. Look at how horrible it is. Look at him. He's raining money on strippers. Oh my God, he's so horrible. Like, Jesus.
Forget the fact that was an old clip.
He's raining money on strippers.
Yeah. That was an old clip, right?
That was an old clip. Those women in North Dakota needed the help.
All the women need the help, all right? Shit.
You know what's
women
funny?
in all the states.
All the states.
And Bebop, I did see that third down. Ayuk should have caught that. But what happened on fourth down? The ball was short and nearly intercepted. This is the frustration we have with Garoppolo. He's always good for one drive, and then we get nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, what about the passes to the dirt? Weren't those awesome? Did you see Juszczyk try to pick that ball up off the ground? That was awesome.
Yeah.
Wasn't that awesome?
Good thing I saved this baby to give away.
Huh.
Get your Jimmy G bobblehead.
Your bobblehead. That's funny. You know what? I'm a pretty mellow dude. I'm a pretty mellow dude. Like, I'm not like my old self where I like to fight and all this other stuff. But man, some of these people, they're lucky I'm not face to face. I will honestly punch some of these people in the face.
There's one that lives here in Vegas that I'm ready to punch in the face.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
let's just
ready to
throw
punch these fools in the face. Like, for them to be, that's funny. And I'm not trying to, I love Trey Lance's parents and stuff like that. So I'm not trying to disrespect, but I honestly look at Trey Lance as my son in a way. Like, he reminds me of my son, honestly, half breed, just like my son. My son has my son's half black, half Mexican. He has a Trey Lance type of look, if you know what I'm saying. So I look at
balding
him
already.
No, my son ain't balding for sure. I gotta get that boy a haircut every week. But anyway,
keep it in line.
Yeah, I gotta get that boy a haircut every week. But but it's just but I see some of these people and they're sitting here like, oh, see, Trey Lance shouldn't have been in the strip club, and he won't be in the strip club. Like, that kind of stuff is unnecessary. That's what pisses me off.
So
as opposed to porn star Jimmy.
Yeah, like, and that kind of stuff.
That's what I said. I'd rather him be in a strip club than screwing porn stars. Like, what are we talking about here?
Hey,
we should call our stable of quarterbacks the Penthouse membership.
that kind of stuff just makes me mad. It's like, okay, like, don't kick a man while he's down. The man's already hurt. You see the look on his face when he was being carted off? It was a look of he was frustrated. He was disappointment. Like, I know he wanted to come out this season and show what he can do so bad because of the doubts. And now he's not. So now what sucks, Denise is going to linger into 2023. Same type of doubts. Same thing is going to happen.
All over again.
Yeah, it's going to be all. Yeah, whatever happened all this offseason, the same thing. It's like if we go to a Super Bowl or NFC Championship, whatever the case may be,
gone. His punk ass better be gone next year.
Listen here, Denise. If we go to an NFC Championship or something, I can almost guarantee that men will not be gone.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I hate to say it. I hate to say it, that man will not be gone. Trey's coming off a serious injury. We got far in the playoffs. That man's gonna stay.
Yeah.
I hate saying
They said during the broadcast that Jimmy G said that he had other offers out there on the table that he turned down
Bullshit.
because he would have rather stayed here on the 49ers.
Bullshit.
Because he's comfortable with the 49ers system, the 49ers playbook, the
Players.
49ers
He wants
roster.
to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically,
so I look at
it for he
yeah.
wants to win.
So the look on Trey's face. Yeah, so the look on Trey's face was just heartbreaking to me. And then for people, like I said, I seen the disappointment. Like I felt like even though it wasn't his fault, I felt like he let his team down. Like he just had that look where just like, oh man, like I wish I was there to pat that man on the back and be like, look, man,
dude, it was so sad. He looked like
what is that? Yeah. What is it saying? Like something about a setback is set up for a better comeback or whatever the case may be, something along those lines, to get him more motivated and let him know it's not over. So, but for him to be down and people making these stupid comments of like, yeah, shouldn't have been a strip club. Well, he won't be in a strip. Some dude posted a guy in a wheelchair and said Trey Lance has a strip club next week. So that's
Wow.
So that kind of stuff like that is like ridiculous. Like I said, that kind of stuff. If I find it, I'll screenshot it to you all and show you. Like, it was a guy in a wheelchair. Yeah, and it's that kind of stuff. Like don't say that in my presence because you'll get punched in your face. I don't play that. Like that just pisses me off. You know what I'm saying? So
this is coming from a woman too.
Yeah.
Here's what I gotta say to people out there sitting on their perch judging Trey Lance. First of all, he's 22. The shit I did when I was 22, I can't even talk about because
for real.
Yeah.
So there's that. And second of all, like people need to, again, come down off your perch because you can't tell me that your asses was perfect when you were 22. And I don't want to hear this shit. Oh, because he's an NFL quarterback, he needs to be different. You know what? It was in the off season. And so what? So big effing deal. What I got to say is what I said on Twitter. Mind your fucking business, people. Mind your business. And don't be judging your blended kids because I got Mexi melts, homie. My husband's Hispanic and I'm white, so I got my own Mexi melts.
That's your little half breeds.
Right. My little half breeds. I love
them. Croc had said on his show Friday morning that about the Trey Lance being at the strip club. He said that 90% of the NFL players are in the strip clubs. That's their thing. That they don't allow cameras and phones and shit because they don't want everybody else to know. But that's their thing. He said they go on the weeknights, Thursday night, Friday nights. They go after the football games. He said, so what Trey Lance is doing, like Croc's like, when I seen that and I was like, oh, okay. That's nothing out of the ordinary except that he allowed somebody to have a phone in there videoing him. He said, that's the only difference.
But you know what, Miriah, what's funny is they're trying to say that was after the loss. And it wasn't.
Yeah, I know.
Jesse from what's his podcast?
Last Second Sports.
Yeah, thank you. Last Second Sports. His he uploaded a video where the guy broke down the timeline and stuff. And I would shout out that guy's podcast, but I can't remember. But if you go under Last Second Sports on Twitter, under Jesse Naylor, he puts the link in there, and the guy broke down the timeline. It was not September 22nd. It was off season, and it was at a house party somewhere, like that they were having.
And like, who gives a fuck?
Thank you. That's my point, Miriah. That's my point. Like, who gives a shit what he does in his off season? Who gives a shit what he does in his spare time? Like, who cares?
Like
you can tell from his clothing it wasn't during that time.
Yeah.
Well, this guy, he did some real research. He broke down the time. He broke down the press conference. He broke down all that. And he said there is no possible way that was after that loss in Chicago. He's like, there is no possible way.
Yeah, because they're on a plane to fly back. Exactly. It's not like it was a home game and they went to the strip club in Santa Clara or whatever. If they even have a strip club, who knows? But, they had to fly. They had to fly back.
Like you said, Miriah, even Croc said they do that shit all the time. And who gives a shit? Jimmy fucked a porn star. And was everyone calling for Jimmy's head when he was doing that?
Exactly.
Not last time I checked.
Nope.
Well, like Miriah said, when Zach Wilson, when he clapped cheeks of his mom's best friend, everybody
Yeah.
was praising him. He blew her
Exactly.
back. He blew her back out, and they're all, he's my favorite
He got put on a
quarterback.
throne with a
You know what
fucking
I'm saying?
crown
All this
on and
other
shit,
stuff.
you know?
Yeah, so it's like, come on now.
Yeah.
And even if it was after the Bears game, who cares? He's allowed
Yeah.
to live his life. You know what I'm saying? So it's just,
And-
I don't know, man. I'm just, it's getting so underwhelming. Like it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be the same. That's what I hate. I wish this man was still healthy to be able to prove himself this year, but it's gonna be, we all gonna have to expect and accept it's gonna happen the same offseason, the same way. OTs, all that. We're gonna, especially if Jimmy stays on this team. I hope he's gone. If he stays on this team, it's gonna be the same thing because I just have a feeling. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like, even with Trey, Jimmy, whoever was a quarterback, we all said this is a top 5 roster, regardless of the situation. So if we get into a groove and we go to like an NFC championship and we end up being like 12-5, it's going to be a conversation in that room, in that meeting room. Should we keep Jimmy? Is Trey ready coming off this injury? Whatever the case may be. So I expect, and I'm going to accept the fact that that's what's going to happen all next year because he didn't even get a chance to prove himself. It's going to be the same exact talk. Is Trey ready? Now it's going to be worse. Is Trey ready? A year with no reps of only get to play one game and coming off an injury? It's going to get worse.
And you know what, TL? That's the shit that pisses me off. And you know what? Kyle Shanahan literally, like, again, I'm a huge Kyle person, but you know what? You need to get off. Here's the thing. If you didn't think you could develop Trey and bring him on and you know what I mean, like make him a star quarterback, then your punk ass never should have fucking drafted him and you never should have moved up and spent the draft capital and did what you did. Bottom line.
Right.
You moved up in the draft, you picked him, so now you need to step up and support him and make him a star quarterback. And if you can't do that shit, then you know what? That shit's on you. And you never should have drafted his ass.
That's why I said it's a fireable offense.
You have, last 2 seasons, you drafted up last year in the 3rd round to get Trey Sermon. That didn't work out. You drafted in the 3rd round TDP, yet you're using your quarterback as your running back. Like what? I mean, I know Trey Sermon's gone, but my point is, you love to run the football. Like I said, your first instinct with a quarterback should not be, how can I use him to scramble? How can I use him that should be extra, like icing on the cake. How can I use Trey Lance to attack the field? How can I use him to open up the offense by going deep? And then, okay, let me add these two couple trick plays. Let me add these design runs. That should be second and third in nature, not your first instinct of getting your quarterback to get comfortable. Like Denise said, maybe intermediate routes ain't his strength right now, but so what? You have Danny Gray, like you guys said, Ray McLeod, Brandon Ayuk, speedsters that can go out there and get the top off the defense. That'll open up things over the middle for the Kittles and the Debos and stuff like that. So it's like, why aren't you doing this? Yeah, exactly.
That is Trey streak. Like,
Exactly.
That's what shit that kills me. I was like, so what if he can't do the dink and dunk like Jimmy? That's why you got rid of Jimmy's punk ass.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And remember,
frustrating.
We're just going to have to rely on our defense once again to get us through it. Yep. We'll have to win in spite of him instead of because of him.
Just on our last show, TL, when we talked about how I had brought up, people were having the conversation back and forth whether Trey should be ran more or he should be ran less, and I said, I see both sides, and for me, it's not about running him more or less. It's about when and how to run him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And look what fucking happened.
Some news here.
What's up?
The 49ers and Dre Greenlaw have reached an agreement on a 2-year contract extension.
Wow.
I'm actually shocked by that.
They announced it right now.
So that means Aziz might be the odd man out.
I'm actually a little shocked by that too. I thought Aziz played better than Greenlaw, but that's just me.
So
especially
after last game,
maybe they could get him cheaper.
Maybe it was after last game, after all those super blunders he had. You still want to give him an extension? That's surprising. Surprising they gave it to him now instead of like waiting maybe till like end of the season or something.
I would wait until the end of the season.
Well, I mean, as soon as they restructured Jimmy, they had news came out that they are working on contract extensions with a couple people. So
yeah, more than him.
Who?
I thought Miriah just said. I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Does Aziz make more than him? Is that what you said?
This
Yeah,
year
I'm
he
saying
is.
it could be
This year,
possible
yes.
too that Aziz is looking for a bigger contract and they
Maybe.
were able to sign
okay.
Greenlaw for cheaper than
Yeah.
what Aziz would have
Oh,
wanted.
okay.
Or maybe Aziz is still in the works too. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
Whatever. But
Aziz is getting paid like a second round tender this year, which was I can't remember the
yeah,
numbers. I think it was a little bit under 4 million, right?
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, so he's
Mhm.
getting paid pretty handsomely because of
Okay.
the second round tender he got. So he was making a lot more than Dre Greenlaw being on a rookie
Okay.
contract as a 5th rounder. So yeah,
I wasn't sure. That's what I was asking because, like,
yeah,
But anyways, I'm surprised they signed him
yeah.
right away. Like, yeah, I would have waited, but what do I know?
Yeah.
You know
Greenlaw
what?
did look
Yeah.
better today.
He did. He did.
Oh, he's way better today. Way better.
We needed
even,
that,
like-
especially today.
There was even a play
Yeah,
that he
he
was chasing somebody out, and they went out of balance. And I felt like last week, that was one of those ones where he would have got flagged because he tackled him too late. But you seen him pull up on the person right away, like, oh, I learned this lesson real fast,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
Yeah.
okay, that was good to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. I'm like you, Miriah. Like, when people say, like, do you run them? Do you not run them? I'm like stuck in the middle too, because I'm like TL. Like, to me, like, I'd like to see it more like a Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen's, like,
Yeah.
Pass, and then if they need to scramble to avoid contact, okay, cool, then scramble and get yardage, and that's cool with me. I don't have a problem with that. But don't run them up the gut. That's bullshit.
No.
Like, you have running backs for that. Like, don't abuse your quarterback, Kyle. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
And here's the thing: up the middle is where the heaviest defenders are.
Yeah.
Your
Right.
your nose tackles. Why are you running the 250-pound quarterback against 215 pounders? That doesn't make sense. Outside
And that's
against
exactly who fell on
linebackers.
him.
Exactly. Outside against some linebackers, strong safety where he can possibly give a stiff arm or whatever the case may be. But the
Yes.
fact you run him up the gut on a design run against a nose, it doesn't make sense to me at all. Like, I don't get it.
Fucking
No,
big old
I
Bubba
agree.
falling on your ankle. What do you think is gonna fucking happen to it? Like,
Exactly.
shit just doesn't make sense.
Right? You're like, excuse me, Bubba Gump, could you get the fuck off?
I know.
I don't care if
it doesn't
it's
make
laced
sense.
with titanium. Somebody big falls on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so disheartening. Like I said, I'm happy we got the win. I'm happy. I still think this is a playoff team, probably a Super Bowl roster. I'm gonna ride with who's ever at quarterback because I'm still a Niners fan at the end of the day. At the end of the day, but at the same time, I'm not happy with the way Trey Lance was used. I'm not happy with how the injury happened. Where it's like, man, it's not like he's missing a game or two. This man has to miss a whole season. That's
Yes,
disheartening for this kid.
Yeah.
with you, TL. I am so, like I said, as much as I am a Shanahan fan, I am so pissed off at Kyle right now. I'm like, Kyle, what the fuck, man? Like, now, and like you said, TL, I am going to be praying. Seriously, it's like my punk ass needs to go to church. I haven't been to church in so long. Like, I really need to go see God, because I'm like, yo, homie. I'm like, I know I haven't been here in a long time, but you need to have a sit down with Kyle.
I got my Bible right here.
Around a little bit.
Like Rick said, like,
can
we
say-
have good receivers on the team. So, it's not like we have some terrible ass receivers like the Bears or somebody that, you can't trust to throw to them. We could have at least 2 all-pro freaking wide receivers on this team if you actually used them how you should be using them. So why are you not? Why are you having the quarterback run? And then you have 2, rookie running backs that you just got. Like, you stacked up this running back room for this fucking reason.
Exactly.
You signed Debo, who runs the ball. Like,
and like TL said, the other thing is that really, again, that people say I don't hold Kyle accountable. The other thing that infuriates me about Kyle is like, yo, Kyle, why are you drafting running backs in the 3rd fucking round when your punk ass knows that you can make a superstar out of an undrafted undrafted person?
Give me just a second.
That's okay, Dave. Yeah.
You don't need to draft a running back in the 3rd round. You don't need that. Like, we've seen you make superstars out of people in a grocery line.
And here's another point I just thought of right now while I'm hearing everybody talk. Why are you running Trey in the middle of the offensive line when that's our weakness?
exactly.
You're not running him towards Trent Williams' side
yeah.
or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're running him up the middle where we have question marks.
Or behind our fullback, or like no.
Yeah. Run him behind Kyle Juszczyk, where Kyle Juszczyk can be a lead blocker. That's what he gets paid for. But yet you want him to do a design run up the middle in between Jake Brendel and Spencer Burford. Like, come on, man. It's head scratching to me. I don't get
I agree with you 200%. And seeing how I can't stand him and you have a good relationship with him, Miriah, you need to ask Grant Cohn to ask Kyle that question. Like, Kyle, why are you running Trey Lance? Everybody wants to know.
He already said that during the presser that Kyle didn't take no responsibility. So.
Oh, yes.
Okay, sorry about that. I heard some yelling in the background, and it was my worst fear. There is now a 4-way tie for the NFC West.
Did Arizona come back and beat the Raiders?
Blew the game.
Oh, that's why my brother-in-law was screaming.
Arizona got a defensive touchdown to just win it.
Wow. And they were getting the brakes beat off them. It was like 23-7. That's as bad as that Ravens-Dolphins game when they were up 35-14 and Dolphins came back and got that victory. Shout out to Mike McDaniel. Yes, they won the game. They were losing 35-14.
Tua had over 460 yards passing
and 6 touchdowns. Shout out to Mike McDaniel.
And I don't think Tyreek Hill got one of them. Am I correct?
He got one. Jalen Waddle got 2.
But Waddle was a star.
He scored the last touchdown with 0 on the clock.
So if you are feeling bad about Trey Lance, which we should be, go console a Raider fan because they're inconsolable right now. They're 0-2.
I'm laughing at
screaming right now in my next
here's the thing too, and people were writing, look how many people were writing off Tua for the last couple of years. He gets Mike McDaniel. I mean, shout out to Mike McDaniel, man, for him to come back and air that ball out as much as he did. Like, everybody always questions Tua and his arm strength. He got the job done. 469 yards passing and 6 touchdowns. And like you said, I don't know if it was Miriah or Denise when you guys saying like our wide receivers aren't slouches. I trust Debo. Like, even if you have some question marks about Trey and his ability to throw the ball, if Trey Lance is throwing the ball on a one-on-one coverage with Debo and a corner, I'm taking Debo all day to win that matchup. There's maybe only 2 or 3 corners where it's like you have to question, maybe like a Marshawn Lattimore, the guy from the Chargers, J.C. Jackson. A few guys you have to maybe watch out for. Right. But Debo, as physical as he is, he's so good. Like, and Brandon Ayuk on the number 2 corner, I'm trusting Brandon Ayuk all day to go out and make the play. So you have to give your guys some trust and some confidence to go out there and do that. Because look at what Mike McDaniel did. Everybody questioned Tua with his arm strength and him not getting the ball deep. That's all I seen him doing today. He put the ball in the air and gave Jalen Waddle, who are speedsters, and Tyreek Hill a chance to make a play, and that's what happened.
Well, not just that, TL. Look at what, hello, wake up call, bring, clue phone for you, Kyle. Pick it up. It's for you. What happened? 2 pass interference calls we got. Throw the fucking ball, Kyle. Throw the fucking ball. You might get lucky and get pass interference calls. We got 2 today. 2.
You would think after we lost to the Colts because of pass interference calls that he would have taken a lesson from that.
Thank you. Yeah, Bebop, I agree. All I do is I see Ayuk smoking his man. Whoever's on him can't keep, and he's not a 4-3, 4-2 guy like Jalen Waddle but his route running is so crisp.
Oh, so good.
These dudes cannot hang out with him. He's open 90.
It doesn't matter because Jimmy can't go 35 yards.
Exactly. But
and now all that offseason work that Ayuk put in is all going to fucking go to waste because now we have a quarterback again that can't fucking use him.
Exactly. He's frustrated.
But that's what I'm saying, TL. That's my point about what I just said about the pass interference. I'm not talking about Jimmy. I'm talking about Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kyle, fucking he can throw the ball deep, throw the damn ball, and even if Trey misses, if you can get a corner that can't keep up, you've got a good chance of getting a pass interference.
Which is why we got Danny Gray in the first place. For exactly that reason.
Somebody mentioned in Twitter, I guess, when Jimmy G first threw that touchdown pass to Ross Dwelly, they said that they saw Mike McGlinchey just like all giddy and
Yeah,
chest
he was
bumping
over
him
there
and
patting him.
yeah,
He
see,
was.
but yeah, see that kind of stuff. So now,
But couldn't help Trey up off the ground after
that's what I'm
he
saying.
got beat and
Yeah,
caused
see,
Trey to get sacked.
yeah, see that pisses me off.
Yeah.
Oh no, you want to know? You weren't here, TL. You want to know the shit that pissed me off actually the most was when Jimmy G's punk ass went out on the field after Trey got hurt, and he's like this.
Oh, cheesing like yeah.
The whole time,
I
which
was
I
like,
get it. Of course, he's happy because he's getting his chance again, and he won after getting counted out after his team replaced him. Like I get it, but like I can't. I don't know. Just to see everybody out there celebrating and smiling and happy, and
I understand that you're happy you got your chance, but you know what, motherfucker, your teammate just got fucking down for the year. That's bullshit. Have some fucking sympathy.
I'll be interested to see what I'm sure Jimmy will talk in the presser.
Yeah, I know you had that. I know the players had that, and maybe I'm just overthinking this, and maybe I'm just so pissed off that I'm noticing, the small stuff. But I'm not saying everybody, but I feel like when Trey went down and Jimmy got back in, and I'm not like I said everybody, I feel like there was no. Like, I don't know if that was me, I'd be looking. I know there's work to do. It's next man up, but I'd be out there kind of looking sad. But people on the sidelines just laughing and joking, and I'm just like, man, your starting quarterback just went out, and it didn't feel like they didn't care. I guess you can say. I don't know. Maybe, like I said, I'm not trying to make assumptions or nothing like that. But it just seemed like it was just like, oh, whatever. Trey's out, Jimmy's in. Let's go out there and do our thing. Like the guy you've been working with, and I get it. Jimmy's been on the team since 2017. I get it. But the guy who didn't work out with you guys at all in the offseason, no OTAs, no training camp, nothing. Trey's been out there busting his tail, and yet I just thought that it was just like, man, like nobody even cared.
You know what, TL? I felt the same way, and I literally 100% feel the same way you do. And I thought, hey, Denise, you're just being sensitive, Sally. Like, because I thought, is it just the next man up mentality? You know what I mean? Like, oh, next man up, we've got a game to win. Like, focus. Was it that, or was it like, hey, we just don't give a fuck? Like, I don't know. I felt the same thing you did. So I thought it was just me being oversensitive. Like,
I see Tia said the same. She said she saw the same thing. So maybe I wasn't the only one, and that's good. Nope. It's just, yeah.
No, I'm with you. I felt the same way. I agree 200%. I felt the same exact way. And like I said, I was livid when I saw Jimmy out there cheesing it up, smiling his ass off. I was like, you need to be slapped, my brother.
And here's going to be the narrative all week. See, Trey played week 1. He couldn't get the job W against a weak Bears team. Jimmy comes in, he wins. Even though we had the lead when Trey went out, but that's what they're gonna say all week. See, you put Jimmy in, good things happen, and you watch. It's gonna make me sick to my stomach. I ain't gonna lie.
So Akash put out a tweet that Shanahan said, any type of guy gets hurt. I wish I didn't call that, but that's something we were going to do and something we would have continued to do. Kyle Shanahan adds that runs up the middle are part of the playbook and something that helps make the offense successful. So are we going to see then Jimmy have runs up the middle because that's part of the playbook and helps make the offense successful?
Hell no, okay, we're not going to see that shit.
Nope.
Then
he should have just kept quiet.
It's frustrating. I'm so frustrated.
You see that video? You see that video of Farrakhan with Mike Wallace? You should just keep quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because like everybody, it's one of the things like, I want people to understand, like, I'm happy that we won the game. But at the end of the day, our starting quarterback of the future, which we all think he'll be here a decade at least, is hurt and still hasn't got his opportunity because of an injury and a poor play calling in my eyes. That's what, like I said, that'd be different if he was running and somebody, tackled him and broke. That's different. Like if it's, like something where he had to scramble, something like that. But on a design play and you get hurt. So Kyle just admitted that play was designed.
Yeah,
he admitted it. So he just admitted it. So yeah, he admitted that play was designed.
I was wrong.
Yeah, no. It's not about that. It's nothing about that. I'm just saying. So It's all
Just so we know.
pretty much so we know that he admitted it was a design run. The fact that you designed
No,
a run up the middle for your quarterback and not your running back, like why don't you just do a direct snap to Kyle Juszczyk or to TDP and let them run it up the middle? That's what they get paid for.
but what
Trey is paid to
Ryan
sling
said,
that thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm so fucking mad. I can't even fucking talk anymore, Kyle.
Man,
God,
yeah, I feel
It's
you.
all right. It's all right.
fucking strangle his skinny ass.
Yeah,
Get
no,
in
that's just,
line.
but like, yeah, so that's what the frustration comes in at, and it's sad too, because it's gonna be, to me, it's gonna be an all season thing, because I'm just gonna be hearing
So
all this stuff, and like I said, I'm happy if we win. Go ahead.
no, Kyle just stuck his fucking foot in his mouth because he said, "Oh, well, these are design runs and they're in the playbook and they make us successful." Well, Kyle, what's funny about that design run playbook you got there, homeboy, is we don't see that design run when Jimmy's punk ass is in the game.
And how successful is it making us when our starting quarterback's and getting surgery? Like
Exactly.
obviously it didn't make us successful.
So exactly. So you don't use that play when Jimmy is the quarterback. So basically, you're talking out of your ass, Kyle. So, like Super Dave just said, some days, Kyle, it's better you just shut the fuck up and don't.
Yeah. Then I seen somebody try to say, I think it was Fair the God, and I want to go back and check, but I think he blamed Trey for that play. Like he was just like, oh, like Trey, not a smart move there. You can't take that kind of hit or something like that. I'm just like, what? Like, you can't take that kind of hit. The play was designed.
Don't you think
So,
he knows that too? You think
yeah,
he
like
chose
that play
that?
was
Like,
designed. If I'm Trey's
Well.
dad, I'm having a conversation with Kyle. Hey, bro, look, I mean, what's cracking here? Like, I'm sorry, as a dad, and I see that you're not using my son correctly, and I get it. Trey's a grown man, but at the same time, it's like, you still look out for your kids. I don't care how old they are. Like,
Right.
what's going on here? Like, I'm looking like, my son's strengths. He can throw outside the numbers. He can throw deep. This play calling, like, what's up? He'll probably end up putting Trey in the doghouse. Who knows? Because his dad said
Yeah.
something. But it's at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like, man, like
Trey and the dad gonna be in the doghouse.
He's not allowed at the facilities anymore. But yeah, no, it's just I don't know. Like and like I said, Kyle, great play caller, but questionable decision maker at times. You know what I'm saying? That's what it comes down to. Like that.
But you know what's funny is actually, I think Kyle's a good coach, but sometimes I think he's actually like a worse play caller sometimes. Like, I'm like, dude, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because everyone says, well, he's an exceptional play caller, but he's not a good coach. And I'm like, well, actually, I would beg to differ, because sometimes his play calling is what I have an issue with. It's not really his coaching, his play calling that actually sometimes I have a problem with. So
Yeah.
What makes that play worse is Trent Williams missed the block.
Did he?
Trent
did he?
Bad
missed
game
the block.
last game too. Rick had asked what we thought. He said, "Good evening to the panel," and he asked if we thought if Bill Walsh was our coach instead of Kyle, would we have saw Bill Walsh run Trey Lance up the gut?
Hell no.
No.
Nope.
No, I don't think so. Well, see, here's the thing. Everybody knows we're all pretty older here. We all know that Steve Young was an athletic quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He can run and do whatever he can. However, he wasn't used that way, whether he can run or not. They put him in the pocket. He threw the ball. He threw a pretty ball at that. Like he threw the ball, and he ran when needed to be. That's why I like Russell Wilson. People can say what they want. Oh, I hate Russell Wilson. I love Russell Wilson. He plays smart quarterback play. He's not a running quarterback. He's just a quarterback who happens to be a runner. That's a difference.
And his style of offense was not designed for a running or run first quarterback.
We weren't seeing Russell Wilson take it up the gut.
And Bill Walsh, he wasn't comfortable putting Steve Young in until he became the passer he was. That's why he was on the bench. Once he saw that he can do what he can do, okay, now we can get rid of Joe Montana, get Steve Young, because now I see him being successful, as a passer. And if Kyle didn't think that, if he would have came out, and I know Kyle doesn't owe us anything, But if Kyle would come out and say, hey, you know what, I think we're gonna keep Jimmy on the team for one more year. We think we need to work another year with Trey. He's just not there yet as a passer, blah, blah, blah. I
That
think
would
we
have
all
been
can accept that.
fine.
We all could have accepted that. Because
Yeah.
now we'll say, okay, he's admitting that, okay, Trey may need, and I would have been fine with that because the man's 22 years old. He just turned 22 in May. He, even as a second-year player, he was still the
You know what,
youngest
though?
starting quarterback.
You might have been okay with that. No one else would have been.
Yeah,
Everybody else
but
would have fucking killed Kyle for that.
yeah, I mean, I would say a lot of the fans who really support Trey, even I think a lot of them, there's a handful of them, like, I don't care, put Trey in. It's this, and I get that. But at least Kyle is being a man and saying, look, this is what we need. We need another year with this kid, blah, blah, blah. Just because then at least we know, and then at least because now this is what the issue is, Denise. You tell everybody at the end of the year that you're ready to roll with Trey. Okay? You tell everybody that I'm ready to roll with Trey. I'm handing Trey the keys. We're going to look at trade options for Jimmy. So what are you telling fans? Trey's ready to take over the helm, right?
I agree with you. I'm not
yeah. So Trey was ever take over the helm. So now that you keep Jimmy, it makes everybody's fans question, like, oh, were you really all on Trey? Were you not? Like, it makes fans question. So that's why there's so much backlash of, well, they're making a mistake and blah, 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 because, they kept Jimmy because they know Trey ain't it. And so, which we all don't agree with, but it's just, it brings more distractions than anything. But
Yeah,
I think most people, so you're right. So I think most people, if Kyle would have said that, you can't be mad at him for not playing Trey, because at least he's telling you that if I put this kid in, we might not be as successful as I think we need to be. You know what I'm saying? So, but I
Right.
get you. There are a handful of players, but because he didn't do that, it makes it look worse. So now it's like, well, now you have Trey on the team, and now everybody like us, we're sitting here like, oh, is it fair? This, and that. Jimmy's on the team. Trey's always going to be looking behind his shoulder, and stuff like that. So it makes a conversation. So yeah.
Dude, I agree with you 200%. Like, honestly, I do. Like I said, I cannot stand I'm like Miriah. Like, to me, like, the quarterbacks that I like are the Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allens, the ones who can, like, throw first and then they scramble when they have to. Like,
I
the
agree.
play breaks down and they scramble to get extra yards. That's what I want to see. Like, I do not want to see my quarterback ran like, up the gut, or, like, I don't want Kyle doing designed runs for the quarterback. But that is not what your quarterback is for. That is why you have running backs. That is why you have Debo. That is why you've got Kyle Juszczyk. That is why you have those fucking players. That is not Trey Lance's job, Kyle. That's not his job. His job is to distribute the ball. That is his job.
I don't know if you guys saw that touchdown run by Lamar Jackson today, but Kyle's the only one I see that does a design run for a quarterback up the middle. Most of them are outside. You see Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, they're never going up the middle unless a pocket collapses and they go up the middle.
Right.
But at the same time, if it's designed, like if they run up the middle, it's because they're scrambling, nothing's open. That's different.
Yes.
But you don't design a quarterback run up the middle for a quarterback. You do it outside. Like I said, make him take on linebackers, make him take on safeties. You're running him up the middle, that you're forcing him, if there's not a good block, to have to go up possibly one-on-one against an Aaron Donald. So like a nose tackle or something like that, which is not smart football.
And like you guys said, you've got him going up against fucking 300-pound defensive linemen. Like, what the hell are you doing? You're just asking for him to get crushed.
Yeah.
Like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
So now our quarterback is sidelined for a whole nother fucking year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same song, just a different dance next year. That's what it's going to be. I'm telling you, it's going to be. It just sucks. I just wish this kid had this year under his belt. It's just like I said, 2023. I feel Denise is going to be worse.
Honestly. Oh God,
much worse.
It's going to be worse because now not only is he unproven, now he's coming off a serious injury.
I swear, oh my God, Kyle, you're gonna kill me if you keep Jimmy another year. You're gonna kill me.
Mark my word. I'm telling you, and I hate to say this, and me and Miriah have been talking about this for years. I'm like, this organization doesn't surprise me anymore. I'll never every move they do is not a shocker to me. I'm just gonna put it that way. I'm not like, oh my god, I can't believe they did that. Like when they got rid of Buckner, when they got rid of DeForest Buckner, that shocked me. And now since that move, I'm just like, nothing's gonna surprise me anymore. So I kept saying, the stuff came out with Jed York, and I wouldn't be mad keeping Jimmy another year. I took that as okay, it might happen. And then people were like, well, what is he supposed to say? Well, I'm gonna start listening to the underlining comments, because sometimes they're telling the truth. When they're sitting there saying, oh, I might keep Jimmy to the end of his deal, and it might happen. So like if we miss the playoffs or something like that, then I think, okay, yeah, he's gone. If we make the playoffs and we make a decent run, NFC Championship game, or whatever the case may be, or like a second round, and this and that, don't be surprised if they can get him back on a team friendly deal, that this man is back on this football team. I'm telling you.
The thing that sucks though. Well, here's what's funny is here's our shining light, Tio. Work with me, football gods, work with me. Here's our shining light. So if we do make a decent run, okay, if we make a decent run and Jimmy comes in and saves us with all his glory, because he's just so fantastic, which I'm being fucking sarcastic as hell.
Yeah.
By the way. No.
Mm-hmm.
So if that happens, then hopefully he doesn't get injured again, and we get an awesome trade package, and that gets him off the team, because some other team comes in and says, well, fuck, Jimmy Garoppolo's a stud, and he goes and signs somewhere else, and that gets him off our team.
Here's the only issue with that. We can't trade a free agent.
Come on, Gio.
I'm just saying, we can't trade. I mean, I'd be with you if he had another year on his deal
to spoil the party.
I'm just keeping it. I keep it a buck here. I keep it a buck here. The man's an unrestricted free agent. We ain't trading him nowhere. The best we can probably get, and now that Trey's hurt for the year, now he's staying.
We're not trading him. Yeah,
we're not trading him. He's staying. So now the best we can get is a third round compensatory pick.
Into the year. I mean, into the year.
Yeah.
That I know.
But yeah, and he can't be tagged either. So
nope, can't be tagged.
So we ain't getting nothing. If he walks away free. That's it.
Yep, we'll get a third round compensatory pick at best.
Well, yeah.
And now that Jimmy's playing too, he's going to reach all probably his incentives and everything in his contract. Yeah. So
now he'll make
playing him the max of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so now he's probably cheesing because he's like, oh, I'm going from 7.5 million to possibly almost 16 because now I'm gonna hit all my incentives.
That's what I'm saying. That's why he's out there smiling away.
Yep.
Shit, DL, I didn't even think of that. You know why Jimmy's cheesing? Because he's like, I got that porn star money, baby, porn star.
Now we're gonna see Jimmy at the strip club videos. He still has to reach
certain benchmarks to get all that money.
Just give me a second.
But pretty much those were.
Anybody else rooting for Brock Purdy?
Those are reachable incentives. They were put there. Like if he's the starting quarterback, that he should easily reach all.
I'm rooting for Brock Purdy.
Well, we only see Brock Purdy if Jimmy gets hurt.
Oh God!
If McGlinchey does his job, that could happen sooner than later.
And then good thing they signed Mr. Jim from accounting to the practice squad, whoever that was, because then we're gonna need him. We'll need another backup.
That's the best ever, Jim from accounting. He's like, yeah, thank God Jim from accounting's there to back Jimmy Garoppolo up. Oh, that's
so. Yeah, congrats to Tanya. She had predicted when we did our score predictions this week. Out of everybody in the chat that was here for the show, she predicted
I didn't
the
put
closest.
It on yours, but I was pretty close. I predicted 28-10.
Oh yeah. She predicted 24-10, so she was the closest out of our list. So she will win a prize. She's not here because she was at the game watching her quarterback Jimmy G. So. But once she comes in, maybe our next show, then we'll draw her a prize.
Yeah. I'm actually depressed.
I never felt that I'd be depressed after a smacking of the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Amen. What the hell?
I mean, this is something,
I forgot all
we've
about
been waiting years for.
You know what? Hold on.
I forgot all about that.
I got to
I mean,
lower
this
my
is a
desk.
yeah. I mean, this is a team that has had our number, and we went
Guys,
out here today and smacked them around.
it's my
Trey.
fault. Look, I have my Trey Lance jersey on, or my Trey Lance. It's my fault, number 5. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have wore it.
Hey, I'm blaming myself for not wearing the jersey.
Yeah. I wore Ayuk today.
I had his number 5 red ready. I didn't wear it.
I wore my damn Trey Lance shirt today, and he got hurt. Dang it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we did. I think we did talk. Obviously, we're sad we lost our quarterback, but like TL said, we did beat the Seahawks, and we whooped their ass.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, that was a good thing to see that we actually beat them, because
we figured Seattle was going to be last in the division. So,
well, we thought that last week too. Yet they were the only one that had a game that won a game in the division. So
that was a fluke.
I don't know. We'll see.
Did the Texans beat the Broncos today, though?
I think that game is still going on.
Because they were tight. They've been playing some great defense.
Denver was ahead.
I know Jerry Jeudy was out for the game. He got hurt. Oh no, the Broncos won. Broncos won 16-9. It's over.
Oh,
Jeudy
you know what?
Sutton got hurt.
Got a notice from ESPN, so you're right. It says, now we know why the San Francisco 49ers kept Jimmy G. Oh, Jesus Christ. Here we go.
Here we go.
They're looking like they're like fortune tellers or something now, like they could see into the future and they made the right decision.
You know what? TL is right about one thing. This week is going to be god awful about the 49ers. I thought it was bad before. It's going to be.
And guess who scored our last touchdown?
Of course he did.
Jimmy G.
And like Bebop says, no matter the Seahawks sucked last year and they still swept us. So
exactly. Yeah, it's true.
Let's not act like both of those games.
But let's not act like the Seahawks couldn't have came into Santa Clara today and beat the shit out of us.
Yeah.
Whether they're a good team or not.
This
wasn't no guaranteed win, that's for sure.
Mariah, I told you too, when I saw the spread at like 49ers were -10, and I'm just like, something ain't right. I'm taking the Niners to win this game because that spread is too good to be true, because everybody named Mama was taking Seattle to cover that spread.
Yeah.
Brandon Ayuk was the leading receiver.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he got the ball pretty decent
63 yards.
Imagine if he would have made that one catch, the one that he went through his hands.
Right there on the sidelines right there?
Yeah.
That was actually
that was a nice throw by Jimmy.
That was actually a good throw.
That was a nice throw by Jimmy. Outside the numbers, too. That was a nice throw. Yeah.
Right. Hit Ayuk right in the freaking hands.
And Jimmy was upset about it, too. He was like, man, I can't believe he dropped that. But, yeah, it was I got to give him his props on that one. That was a nice throw.
You know what's also telling or weird? Jimmy had a rating of 100.1. Anyone want to guess what Lance's was?
100.
99.3.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Bebop, you better put some respect on Gino's name. He didn't write back, okay?
He didn't write back. I told you, it's funny, Mariah. And Mariah's funny. You and I said he should have shut up with that comment until maybe at the end of the year. Because
I said you should have won the Super Bowl first.
You should have made the playoffs or did something or went like 12-5 before you made that comment.
But the defense again won it. 36 yards rushing for the Seahawks.
Wow.
Hey, how did we do penalty wise? We did pretty good.
Let me take a look there. Penalty wise, we were only one penalty for 26 yards.
One penalty, 26 yards.
Nice.
Awesome. Good job.
And you know what I like about you know what I like about this defense? We're starting to look like ball hawks out there.
Yes.
That's
I'm liking the turnovers
last year.
Yep, that's what's been missing.
Yep, missing them turnovers.
Is a turnover.
So yeah, I'm loving it. We're getting interceptions every game so far. Like it's only been 2, but I mean we're looking good. And it's funny because Hufanga got his hands on it and almost had the pick, and then it went right to get his hands.
He's playmaker,
playing like an all-pro right now, and this is without Jimmy Ward.
Yep.
Can you imagine how better they're going to be when he comes back?
Yeah, I can't wait. That defense is going to be scary. It's knock on wood that everyone fucking stays healthy.
All I gotta say is I hope really I hope that Trey Lance gets his opportunity, and like Kyle needs to get over his fear, whatever it is, like like, oh, running quarterback, whatever. You know what? Trey Lance is. That's the thing that's funny is Trey Lance is not a running quarterback. He really is.
He's not.
He's not a running quarterback. He is. He's not. And please, everybody, don't hate me for saying this. He is not Lamar Jackson. He's not quarterback. He's not.
He reminds me of John Elway. Elway used to run up the middle, but only when he had to.
Exactly. Yeah. You know who he reminds me of a little bit? Donovan McNabb too.
Or Steve McNair.
Steve McNair, yeah, that same type of guy that has the athleticism, but not necessarily has to be a running quarterback. He has the athletic ability; he can run. But I think not too many people look at his tape at North Dakota State and think he's a running quarterback because he had so much where he was just a man amongst boys. So he made it look easy as a runner in college, but he's not that guy. Like he has it. Like I can see him getting between like 40 and 50 yards game with his legs, but it's only because like if the play breaks down, maybe one or two design runs a game that need to be outside and not inside.
I agree with you. Like, and he reminds me, and maybe it's just me, he reminds me more of like Josh Allen. That's who he reminds me of. Because if you look at go look at Josh Allen measurables and look at Trey Lance measurables, I'm telling you guys, they're like, they are neck and neck. Like they are so close, it's like scary how close they are. And if you listen to Joy on the Speak, she brought that up. Like when everyone was shitting on Trey Lance and Audrey was shitting all over Trey Lance, she literally said that Trey Lance's first game or his third game and Josh Allen's third game, they were identical.
It's their first 3 games.
It was identical to the point where Josh Allen had more interceptions than Trey Lance did.
Yeah,
he did.
And more rushing yards.
I've always been a big Josh Allen fan because he played in Wyoming. You guys are in UNLV territory. I'm in San Diego State territory. So we actually saw this kid and how raw he was. The potential was always there, and Buffalo gave him time to develop. He got 3 full seasons to be the quarterback he is today.
Yeah, and that's what I hate when people say. Well, that's what I hate. Games. Yeah, that's what I hate when I compare the two. I'm like, look, you guys have to look at what Josh Allen did. Oh, there's no comparison. He's lights ahead of Trey. Yeah, right now because he got his opportunity. He got the opportunity to sit there, and the Bills fans were paid. The Bills organization was patient with him. His first year, he was terrible.
And there's no rumors about replacing him with the fucking backup or anything,
people were already calling him a bust after his first year and all this other stuff. Second year, you saw the improvement, but it wasn't until that third season in 2020 when you start, because he got drafted in 2018. It was in 2020, his third year, when you start seeing how great he's going to be.
Yep.
And then last year he blew the doors off. So you know what I'm saying? So you have to give these kids their chances. And I agree with you. I agree with you, Denise. You look at Trey Lance and people say, "Oh, he's so raw." Well, yeah, he is because he's not getting the reps. And it just sucks that I felt, and it just sucks because I look at it and they did the same thing. So the thing with Josh Allen, the year before, the Bills made the playoffs with Tyrod Taylor.
Right.
And then Tyrod Taylor got benched. They put Josh Allen. They say, okay, we he was a top 10 pick. We're going to see what we have in him. And the Bills went from making the playoffs to not making the playoffs. Oh, he's a bust. He should have just stuck with Tyrod Taylor and, this, and that. And then now look at him. Just imagine if the Bills said, oh, man, I made the playoffs with Tyrod. Let's keep Tyrod in. And just imagine how Josh Allen would probably be right now. But the fact that they trusted this kid and they let him go through his lumps and this. And I hate when people say, well, the 49ers have a Super Bowl roster. It doesn't matter. You sit there and you did. If you felt like you said, Denise, if Kyle felt like, it was going to take 2 to 3 years to develop this kid, then why not wait to draft a quarterback in 2023 or whatever the case may be and build the team? So if you drafted this kid in 2021 because you felt that he was the kid for you, and it's your first time you have to pick your quarterback, you need to trust your own gut and put him in whether he takes his bumps or not. Because I really thought after that Houston Texans game in the second half, I saw beautiful play calling. Throwing outside the numbers, throwing deep, opening up the running game.
Right.
I said, okay, good. And I was like, this is night and day from that Arizona game where he
Yep,
didn't
I
look
would
good.
too.
And then Houston second half, I was like, man, this is some good play calling from Kyle. And I thought he had it
Yep.
together. Then you had a whole offseason, OTAs, mini camp, training camp. So I really thought going into this year, which it could have improved. Now we can't see it until 2023 because of the injury. But I really
Yep.
thought, okay, in 2022, it's probably, and everybody said it. I mean, some people were like, "Oh no, Trey's going to blow the doors off week 1." I didn't see that. I was like, I was like, by week 5 or 6, I can see him starting to get comfortable, where he's going to get on a roll. And I thought that was going to be the window for him. But so many people were already writing him off. Oh, he ain't it, and all this other stuff. If you go back and look at Josh Allen, his first 2 years, you'll see how terrible he was. So I don't want to hear this, oh, Trey can't be that guy and all this other nonsense.
TL, that's exactly what Joy said. Joy literally said on Speak, she said, she goes, imagine if the Bills would have wrote Josh Allen off after his start. Imagine if they would have wrote him off and said, oh, he sucks. Let's go back to Tyrod Taylor. She's like, imagine if that would have happened. She's like, there wasn't the media scrutiny with Josh Allen because the Bills had moved on. You know what I mean? It was like, this is our quarterback. We're moving on. You know what I mean? And she said, and he was horrible. Like, he was horrible. And they had made the playoffs the year before, and then they didn't make the playoffs with Josh Allen because he wasn't playing well. And so everyone thought that they had made this huge mistake. And they're like, and she said it. And just like you said, Kyle has to be willing to take the growing pains of, like Joy said it best. If you go and draft a rookie quarterback, Kyle Shanahan, then you have to be willing to go through the growing pains of grooming a rookie quarterback. That is just the way it is. Like and I'll be honest, when everybody in the offseason was saying, oh, we're going to go to the Super Bowl this year, Trey's taking us to the Super Bowl, I'm like, you guys are all dreaming. Because I did not think we were going to the Super Bowl. I didn't. I literally said, like, if we make it to the playoffs, I think we're one and done. Like, I think we're there and we're out. I said, because Trey doesn't have the experience. That's me personally. Even with Kyle as a coach, I don't think we're going to the Super Bowl this year. I said,
let me ask you guys something real quick. And this is from my ladies. This is from my lady's younger brother. So I don't look like I'm biased. I'm going to ask all three of you. You guys can all answer. Did Jimmy G take us to 2 NFC championships and a Super Bowl?
No.
I already know we're going to say no.
No, hell no.
I know. Well, I just want you guys to say that on video and recording.
Took us to in 2019, and Deebo Samuel rode this. We rode his back to get to the playoffs in last season. Pretty much.
Yep.
This is why I'm saying this, because after the Bears lost last week, he's told me he couldn't believe that we benched Jimmy for Trey after Jimmy took us to 2 NFC championships in the Super Bowl. And I was like, Jimmy didn't take us anywhere. So I'm glad you guys clarified that our defense and a good run game is the reason why we got where we got.
Yeah. And let's be honest. Like, so you just heard me say that I didn't think we could get to a Super Bowl, and win a Super Bowl with Trey Lance. And I'm not saying that because I think Jimmy Garoppolo is like so fantastic. I'm saying that because of the fact that I think Trey Lance is going to go through his growing pains. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Regardless of whatever. I think, Trey Lance has to go through his bumps and bruises to, get there. But with that being said, we're putting up with rookie growing pains from someone who is an 8-year veteran. That's bullshit. Like, Jimmy Garoppolo, people need to remember the reason Kyle drafted Trey Lance is because Jimmy couldn't get it done. Like, let's cut the bullshit. Jimmy couldn't get it done. That's why Trey is here. Now, why Kyle has a stick up his ass and doesn't trust Trey to throw the ball is a question that your girl Denise cannot answer. I don't know. I don't have that.
Yeah,
And if I met
no.
Kyle Shanahan, I would probably faint and then probably wake back up and then smack the shit out of him and be like, Kyle, you and I need to have some coffee and sit down and talk about
And here's the thing too, and here's the thing. I wasn't sure if we are gonna go to the Super Bowl, but it wouldn't have surprised me. The only reason why I say this is, you look at Jimmy's stats from last year in the season. He had 22 touchdowns and 17 turnovers.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so I felt okay if Trey can at least just be better than that, we'll be fine because we're still gonna have the run game. We're still gonna have a defense that to me is better than last year. So I was
Yeah.
like, could we get to the playoffs? Yes. Could we get a Super Bowl? Possibly, because once you get to the playoffs, anything happens. You're one and done. Things can just go your way, whatever the case may be. So to me, I thought, okay, it could be possible because we all know that Jimmy G in the playoffs has in 7 games has thrown two touchdown passes and 6 interceptions. And the only game he didn't throw an interception in is the Packers game where he threw the ball 8 times.
Oh,
Right.
and he does pirouettes in the field,
Yeah.
He did one today too.
And if we
Jimmy-
didn't take the ball away from him in the second half of that Viking game, we never make that Packer game.
Exactly. So
So
yeah.
and so now I do see your point. I agree
Yeah.
with you. Like,
Mhm.
I just was what's the word I'm trying to use? Like,
Optimistic, basically, like kind
yeah,
of like because you felt, yeah, and it's the same thing. It's like one of those things where it's like Trey. I mean, it was to me. It was like, okay, can he? To me, I was thinking that can he be better than 22 and 17? I honestly thought he could. I thought he was going to start off slow. I predicted a slow start. I was like 5-6
yeah,
games,
I did
he'll
too.
probably be mediocre. I feel like
Yeah.
after 6 games, we'll have our bye week, all this other stuff, and then we'll be able to. He'll get in stride, and then we'll be able to take off from there. We all know, just like what his team did last year, we got hot towards the end of the year, and I thought, okay,
Yep.
Trey will be slow, the offense will be slow. The offensive line, for one, need some time to gel. So I felt like it was going to take us at least 5 to 6 games, and then we will be able to do what we needed to do. So 22 and 17 or whatever, 20. Yeah, I thought he could be better than that. I thought maybe a total of 30 touchdowns and about the same amount of turnovers just because he's a rookie. So
Yeah. No, and I could totally see that, but I was trying to be more like, okay, like don't get your hopes too high. But people were like, we're definitely going to the Super Bowl. We're going to kill everybody. And I was like, I don't know. Because like to me, I'm looking at the teams that are like already like stout, like the Bills and the Chiefs. And you know what I mean? And those are the teams that I was like, oh shit, man, I don't know. I'm like, those teams are like when people say like we're built to win now, I'm like, yeah, but there's some teams out there that I think are better than us. Like, and
I
I'm
still
49.
think Kansas City can be had. I didn't see a whole lot. I saw a couple of errors from the Chargers, but I thought they were exposed Thursday night. The Bills, on the other hand, scare me.
Yeah, they look good.
to me, that's the best team in football.
Yeah, I agree.
I think so too. I think the Bills are definitely the best team in football, hands down.
Yep.
The sad part about today was not only his injury, but I think this would have been the game to silence his critics.
Yes.
His first start against the Seahawks, he actually beats the Seahawks, which is something Jimmy has had trouble doing his 5 years as a starter. It would have shut everybody up.
I agree. I was
We'll
waiting for
never
that
know
too.
now.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, Super Dave. I thought the same thing. I was just like, man, he's going to go out because I predicted us to win this game. I predicted the 27-17 score. So I was like, if he goes out there, he doesn't have any turnovers and he plays a serviceable game, it'll shut him up because it's like, man, the Seahawks have had our number. Now we have somebody who came in there and beat him, and beat that team. So yeah, so it's unfortunate. Like I said, I'm glad we got the W too. It was just one of those things where like when I saw him go down and he couldn't get back up, and then when the commercial break came back and they were surrounding him, and I saw him on the cart with the air cast, I'm like, wow, like I just felt like I couldn't breathe. Honestly, I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, no, not Trey. Like I hope he's fine. Like the man finally has his time. and now he's injured. But you know what? I know a lot of people ain't religious and stuff, but like they say, we have our time and the Lord has His.
There
So
you go.
maybe it's just one, yeah. So maybe it's just one of those, you know what I'm saying? So maybe it's one of those things where hopefully, this he can sit back. I'm glad it's not, like I said, I'm glad it's not an Achilles, or
Right.
I'm glad it's not like a severe knee injury where he tore MCL, ACL, stuff like that. It's an ankle where I feel like it'll heal a little bit easier if he stays off of it. So I feel like he's gonna be okay. At the same time, like I mentioned earlier, he's in his second year, first year starting quarterback, and he was still the youngest starting quarterback in the league. Still young. By the time he plays next year, he'll still only be 23. When sometimes guys don't come into the league until they're 23.
Yeah.
I
So
just
I'm glad I, I'm glad I
Like Mac
watched this
Jones,
game
yeah,
inside. My
yeah.
mouth was open for 10 straight minutes from the time he went down to the time Jimmy came into the game. Just I'm surprised I didn't catch flies.
Mhm. Oh man, yeah.
You talk about not breathing. I
Oh
was
man.
just frozen.
Like,
So
I'm not
yeah,
lying when I tell you my stomach, it's still hurting right now, has been hurting ever since.
yeah. It's
Like,
I'm like Mariah. I was sick to my stomach. I literally was. When I saw him go down, I got sick to my stomach. And then when I saw Jimmy G come in there and with a shit-eating grin on his face, it pissed me off. Like
yeah.
I went from sick to my stomach to wanting to punch Jimmy in the face. I was like, oh, you motherfucker.
yeah.
Like, because I just like I'm just one of those people. Like I get that, like Mariah said, like he's probably like, oh, I'm getting my time to come into the game. You know what I mean? But at the same time, your teammate just got wheeled off on a cart. Like I don't know. I'm just one of those people. I'm like, where's your sympathy? Where's your, like, damn, dude, I'm sorry. Like,
Let
bro.
me ask you guys
I mean,
something.
they
Maybe
could
I
have
missed it.
sympathy, but
Yeah,
at the end of the day, they still have a job to do. They still have to go in there
absolutely.
and play a football game, you know.
Let me ask you guys something because I didn't see it. Did you see? Did Jimmy ever come onto the field and like give him a pat on the back and say it's okay or anything like that, or no?
I didn't see it.
I didn't see that either. Okay, because most of the time you'll see all the
Well,
teammates on the field and
they went
they're like
so
they'll say a prayer together or whatever the case may be. But I didn't
I
see
don't
any of that.
know.
Like I said, I went to commercial, so I didn't see everything. So
Yeah, I didn't either because they went to commercials, so I didn't see who was out there, who wasn't out there, and then
hmm
like, but yeah, it sucked. I was like, okay,
yeah,
man. And then, like you said, PL, I really hope that you're wrong and I'm right about Jimmy next year. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
there's that.
I agree with TL though. If we get to the playoffs and we get deep, there is no way they're not going to find a way to re-sign him for an extension.
or at least attempt to for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna do what they
Alex
can. Mhm.
Alex says, to be honest, I did see Jimmy go up to Trey on the cart.
Nice. I appreciate
Well,
that,
okay, so he's
Alex,
not
for
a total
telling me. Thank
sleaze
you.
Thank you,
ball.
Alex.
No, thank you. I was just wondering,
Okay, good to know.
no, that's fair. That's why I said I wanted to know who was out there and all that. So yeah, I mean, I hope all the team captains were out there saying, "Hey, look, just go ahead and keep your head
That
up." And
that means I
I'm
don't
just
have to
glad.
find
Yeah,
the scripture to curse him.
I'm just glad. I'm just glad that Trey comes from a great family. And that his dad, like I said, his dad played like he had a little stint in the NFL and stuff like that. So his mom and dad are huge supporters of him. So I just hope that they keep his head up, which I'm sure they will. They keep his head up and say, look, your time's not over. I watched this when I got into my car accident back in 2019 and tore my feet and broke my femur. I was
Mm.
down and out. Yeah, I was down and out. I was in the dumps. I felt like less of a man because I couldn't provide for my kids and take care of my kids and stuff like that. And I
There's
found this
nothing
Jason Verrett.
worse.
Yeah, it's just not. As a man, you know what I'm talking about, Super Dave. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
nothing worse than feeling like you're less than. So I found this video with Jason Verrett called The Comeback, and you guys should watch it. It's called The Comeback, and it shows how he's fallen so many times, but yet he comes back. And it was like fall down 9 times, come back, and you stand up 10.
Right.
So it's one of those things where I found it was funny just scrolling through YouTube, and I found it, and it keeps my head up. Now when I work out and do my push-ups and stuff, I listen to that every single time before I work out because it motivates me. So it's just one of those things where I hope that Trey has some kind of support system in his corner that, like, look, man, you're 22 years old. It's not a career-ending injury. Keep your head up and just you worked out 100%. Go out there and give it 150% and teach these people and prove everybody wrong. So
I really do think that Trey has a really good support staff. And I
Mhm.
will say one thing about the 49ers organization. As much as we like shit on Kyle and John for the shit they do, like the play calling, whatever you want to say, one thing I give them a ton of credit for is I think that we have an amazing culture. Like, I think they built an amazing culture in our locker room. Like,
It's such a big difference from the last regime, the GM. The culture shift has just been amazing, like you said, because
yeah,
if we were under the last regime, it would have been utter chaos from the time training camp started with this quarterback lingering controversy. They've
yeah,
kept the players in check. Management has been tight-lipped, except for that Jed York statement there. But they've been a
yeah,
pretty close-knit group, so it's refreshing to see them band together. And for better or
yeah,
for worse, now we've got to rally behind number 10. You know, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
he's who we have now. Whether you
Yeah.
agreed it was a nice contingency plan or it was the lesser of two evils, this is who we've got now.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
No, exactly. And like I said, I like that's one thing I can't take away from Kyle and John. I don't care what anyone says. We do have a great locker room. And I do believe that, and like TL said, that he watches that video with Jason Verrett. Well, Jason Verrett's one of our players. So Jason Verrett is right there, in the same locker room with Trey Lance. So
Yeah.
he is someone that Trey Lance can lean on and say, look, bro, like
Mhm.
I've been here, like not just once, but multiple times in my career. Like I have been here more than I care to,
Mhm.
admit, like this has been my life. Like keep your head up. Like Mike McGlinchey just went through a horrific. I mean,
right.
Mike McGlinchey, honestly, like his injury is like for most people is career ending.
Yeah.
Like Mike McGlinchey's lucky that he came back. Jimmy Garoppolo had a season ending injury. So like he's got a lot of people around him who've had, I mean, Trent Williams had cancer for God's sake. You know what I mean? And like,
Yep.
Right.
he's got a lot of people around him that I think will lift him up. So I do believe that we have the right locker room around Trey. That I 100% believe in. And for all Kyle's faults, I do believe that Kyle is a great coach in that fact. Like, like I do believe he lifts his players up in that regard. So I do believe that we've
Mhm.
got a great staff where that stuff is considered. So, like and like you said, TL, he's got a great family, around him as well. So, he's got that support as
Yeah.
well. And like him and Brandon Ayuk are tight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
he's got that support. So
You know
and you
what,
know what,
Denise, you
TL?
just gave me an idea. You just gave me an idea, and you're right. Jason Verrett's still on our football team. And I know he probably won't see this. I know he probably gets tons of people adding him. But I'm gonna send him that video of Jason Verrett, sorry, to Trey Lance, just in case he hasn't seen it. I'm gonna send it to
I
him
think that's a
and
good
just say,
idea.
hey, I'm gonna send it to him and say, hey, brother, keep your head up. Watch this video of your own teammate who's been hurt. A few times, and he's come back, and he's still on the NFL roster. So yes, hopefully this will motivate him, and
Yeah,
it's crazy because when he was interviewing, you can tell Jason Verrett, you can tell he wanted to cry during the interview because he was just like,
oh
I'm just holding back the tears because I'm not out there helping my team and all this other stuff. So yeah, I think it's a great video. I think I'm gonna send it to him, and hopefully, he
that's a great idea.
hopefully God puts it on his heart for him to open it and actually take a look at it. So
And you know what, TL, let me tell you something. You said, like what you said earlier, that hit home for me because like you said, uh, what it's like when you can't provide for your family.
mhm,
Well, even as a woman, like me and my husband went through our hard times because, I work in the mortgage industry.
mhm,
And, if you guys don't know, the mortgage industry is very much an up and down industry, and it's a very small collective pool of people. And, you know, me and my husband in 2008, when the market crashed and, we basically went into a recession, like we lost everything. Like we lost our home, we lost everything. And I literally I mean, for you who know me, like, this is going to sound funny, but when I tell you, you're going to be like, that absolutely sounds like you, Denise. Like, we lived in a 2-story house, and I was standing at the top of the stairs, and I had been unemployed. I had never been unemployed this long since I was like 18. Like, I had been unemployed for almost a year. And like, my kids were younger, so they couldn't work. You know what I mean? My husband was trying to hold it together, but he had to take a pay cut at work because they were like, everybody either takes a 10% pay cut or we close our doors. You know, and so everybody took a pay cut where he was working. So we were like barely surviving. And my kids would like find me in the living room at night, like crying, you know, on the floor, because I was just like, oh my God, like, I've never been in this position. Like, I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I'm sobbing. So my friend calls me the next day, and I'm at the top of the stairs, and I'm talking to her, and I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, I can't find a job. Like, nobody will hire me. And I'm like crying. And she's like, it's okay. Like, you know, just, you know, she's like, give it to God, you know, it's okay. Like, you know, you're going to find something. I'm praying for you. You're going to find something. And I was like on top of the stairs, and I'm like sobbing, and I'm like, blah, 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 and I like slip, and I'm like, and I hit the wall, and I like, and so the phone goes flying out of my hand, and I'm like, and I'm crying, and I'm like, I'm like crying, laughing, and my friend's like yelling at me. She's like, please. I'm like crying and laughing, and I finally get the phone. She's like, do I need to call 911 or do I need to call the people with the straitjacket? She's like, my friend's like,
I'm in that same industry that you're in. My wife does mobile home loans, mortgages, and I'm a realtor, so I felt you with that. We're trying to tighten our belts now because we see what's coming. A repeat of 2008.
Yeah, and I'm a mortgage underwriter, so that's what I do, and it's, you know, and so it's a really hard industry. So I just want you to know, TL, that trust me, that is it is a true feeling, like, for everybody. Like, I just, so I want people to know out there, like, it's not just men, it's women, it's everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Feeling like when you can't support your family, like, there is no worse feeling than that.
Absolutely.
Like, there is no worse feeling.
Yeah,
that's
and I don't
true.
know.
I'm going through that right now. So trust
Mariah,
me, it's
Mariah,
definitely
like, I
not
feel
meant
it.
men. Like, I'm losing my house. Like, seriously, we're about to be homeless in 7 days because we have nowhere to move. So yeah,
I feel you on that, Mariah.
We got thrown out of our apartment in 2012. We spent Super Bowl Sunday. That was the Sunday we played the Ravens. We spent it at a hotel and had to live there for 2 months while we tried to find another place. So I've been there.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's cool. I mean, it's crazy how we know how, you know, we all get broken at sometimes, you know what I mean, where we have to just be uplifted by either family or, you know, you get on your knees and pray to God, whatever the case, whatever both. Best helps you. So or both, whatever best helps you. So it's one of those things where, you know, we're all broken, we all go through something. You know, my grandma always told me there's always somebody who got it worse than you. You know what I'm saying? So every time, so when she told me that, I'm like, yep, you know what, you're right. Like, so and then, you know, as you know, we're talking on a biblical sense, is like, you know, the Lord is not going to give you nothing you can't handle. So we
they
all
tell you that, but at the time when you're going through it, you don't believe it.
You don't believe it. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you don't believe it, and then you're just like, well, this is that. But then he got me through my darkest time. So now I know for a fact it's true. You know what I'm saying? Because I got, you know why I know it's true? Because I got through it.
Right.
So you know what I mean. So
I said that. I was looking up when I was like, I don't know, dude. I don't think I can handle much more. So I'm like, could you magnifying glass and focus it on somebody else? Because my house is on fire right now.
For real.
I just kept my mouth shut during that time. I didn't want anything else coming. Sorry.
I was like, could you please focus
people
on
make the
something
mistake
else?
of saying, I want to be humbled instead of being humble during their toughest time. And if you say you're going to want to be humbled, he will humble you.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, like I said, there ain't there ain't nothing worse than not being able to provide or feeling
Oh,
like
for sure.
there's no other worse feeling than that. It's horrible.
Well, it's just
Yeah.
funny,
That's
like
why
I said, that, you know,
like I don't wish injury on other
no.
teams' players. I don't wish that on
Yeah,
nobody.
me either.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I don't care if it's a team I hate. I hate to see that at the end of the day, we all have families we need to feed and take care
Right.
of. And so I don't care
Yep.
what the situation is. Like, I pray for everybody to be healthy. And, I don't wish season-ending injuries or even if being out for 2 weeks, it still sucks regardless. It's like everybody was like, celebrating Jamal Adams being hurt. I don't care if he's on the
Oh no,
Seahawks.
no, I don't want
I don't
that
care if he's on the
energy coming
Seahawks.
back.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, and then look, and now
Bad
we got
karma.
Trey hurt, but now look though, we got Trey hurt for the year. So you need to watch what you do. You know what I
Bad
mean?
karma. No, bad karma. Don't do that.
Yeah. So
That's bad karma. I don't do
it
that.
it,
I don't
it
wish that
really
on
is.
nobody.
So
All right, guys. I think we'll wrap it up. This went way longer than what our normal
Oh, yes.
reaction shows are going to be, but obviously we had a serious matter to discuss. So,
But once
Yes.
again, we'll all have something to talk about this week.
yep.
yeah, we got what Broncos on
Sunday night.
football. Sunday night
Sunday
football.
night.
Okay.
Next two
Yeah.
games are prime time. Sunday night and the
Yeah.
Rams Monday night.
Yeah. All right. That's gonna be
So
interesting.
yeah,
games.
prayers and good vibes and everything out to Trey, and
Indeed.
hope he has a successful
Prayers
surgery.
and
That
hey,
they
we
don't find anything else
running up the
like
gut.
worse than there,
Yeah,
like some ligament damage or
nerve damage or
something where,
something. Yeah.
like hopefully
yeah.
it's just a break and they can repair it and everything's good, so
And let's pray that when we run it up the gut, nobody gets injured from here on out.
Yeah,
Yep.
for
Hey,
sure, for sure.
Did you guys hear my funny? You guys missed my funny. I said, can't wait to see Jimmy run it up the gut.
yeah.
No, I heard you. That's why I got this out.
All right, Miriah,
All right, everybody.
thank you for sending me the link. I was like looking for it. It took forever to get to me. I don't know why, but I got on at the right time and got to speak my
Denise,
piece. So,
finally nice seeing a face there.
Everybody
David,
in the
Denise, I'm
chat,
happy.
we appreciate you
David,
guys
Denise,
for
I
being here
appreciate
with
you
us.
being on. Yeah.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Dave.
Never
you guys have a
talk.
good evening.
Thanks with you.
Thanks.
All right, you guys have a good one.
Bye, you guys.
You too. All right, bye-bye.